Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a dungeon guide for the Dragon's Lair, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so for the Dragon's Lair, I'll go ahead and pull it up here. It's one of the really good dungeons to farm because it drops two of the most vital sets in the game. We have the lifesteal set and the speed set, which are both just generally useful across kind of the entirety of the game. It also drops accuracy, which is a pretty good set that can help a lot for the clan boss. And then the other sets, unfortunately, aren't super good. You know, the destroy, the toxic. Toxic should be buffed to a 5% poison debuff, in my opinion, or it should require 2 pieces if it's going to stay at 2.5. Frost, Daze, Avenging, and Stalwart are all kind of sets that I haven't really played around with a ton yet. So, you know, mainly you're probably looking for accuracy, speed, lifesteal, and toxic. Now, if you have found good value out of the other sets, that's great. You know, definitely let me know down in the comments. I'd like to hear if people have really tested those extensively. They seem underwhelming to me, so I have not dove into them as of yet. But, so the Dragon Lair is going to switch affinities. It's going to start with magic. It's going to kind of rotate through and finish with spirit. 6-star artifacts are not out yet as I am making this video. But the good point of at least getting to stage 10 before you grind it is you're going to be guaranteed 4- and 5-star drops every time. So you probably don't want to put a ton of resources into like grinding the Dragon's Lair until you can do at least stage 10. You know, I've kind of been in limbo. You know, we've kind of had a patch dangled in front of us for a few weeks now where, you know, we're supposed to be getting 6-star gear. It was teased in game and stuff. So I haven't been grinding Dragon until the 6-star gear comes out. But I do have a team that is capable of doing stage 15. So I'll kind of go over the mechanics of the fight and kind of show you that. So I'm just kind of doing my best magic affinity group. And I went with the raw HP here of Lord Champfort because it's plus 50% HP. And Lord Champfort does a decent amount of damage and kind of sustains on his own. And then just my 3 kind of best damage dealers that are going to do well against this affinity. Because the dragon is really kind of a DPS race. You know, I'll go over it during the fight, why damage is so important. But you really need to be able to burst and do a lot of damage quickly against the dragon. So let's go ahead and maybe do a couple dragon runs here. So yeah, it's going to be kind of like most other boss fights. You're going to have the 2 stages where there's, you know, trash mobs to clear. And then the last stage will be the boss fight. So you're going to want some good AoE on these first couple waves to be able to get through them. And some of these waves can you know, can kind of be a pain at times because, you know, some of these mobs will use like unkillable and stuff, and then you'll have to sit here and you know, pound on them for 30 or 40 seconds to get them down. But you know, like right here now, you know, this Crimson Helm here I can't kill, so I'm just stuck sitting here doing nothing. And you know, it's not that big of a deal, but it can really slow down the runs quickly if you're not able to do a ton of damage quickly. Because now you can see I'm just sitting here wasting time with that unkillable buff, and now it's gone, and we can roast it. So generally, you'll want to get to the dragon within about a minute or so. And then, let me stop here and go over the abilities. So, Scorch, attack all enemies, place a stun debuff for 1 turn. The skill will be locked and hidden again if the dragon takes enough damage while the skill was unlocked. So, this is going to be the ability that the dragon uses when they kind of inhale. And then it'll do this strong AoE attack, place a stun, and that's what it's talking about, will be locked and hidden again. Inhale fully depletes the target's turn meter, unlocks a secret skill, Scorch. So this is when the dragon kind of stands up and inhales and gets ready to use this Scorch ability. Wall of Fire attacks all enemies, place 2 poison debuffs for 3 turns, places a 25% weaken debuff. So a character like Spirit Host that removes debuffs from your party can also be kind of useful in this battle. Swipe. Attack all enemies. Place a 50% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Again, this kind of adds to the utility of a character like Spirit Host that ups the DPS of your party and removes debuffs. So, you know, we're kind of dealing as much damage as possible here. And then, boom. So, this is where the dragon, you see that purple up top? If you're not able to deplete that purple part of the dragon's health while it's like standing up, when the dragon's turn meter fills up, it's going to do this Scorch ability, which is really strong. Now, sometimes if you have a lot of sustain, a lot of healing, you can just tank this and do a longer dragon run. But the most optimal route is to really burst it down. And it's important to note that I believe the dragon is immune to decreased speed and decreased turn meter debuffs. So that is one note. So yeah, during this point, you're trying to deplete this purple as fast as possible before the dragon fills up its turn meter so that you don't have to deal with that Scorch. And then, yeah, so, you know, my Lord Champ Fort being the leader provides a ton of HP, so I can kind of sit here and sustain this a little bit, and then I'm just doing a bunch of damage and applying some dots. You know, you can see I've got a good kind of blend of decreased defense, decreased attack, weaken, and poisons. Those are kind of the best debuffs to bring against the dragon. And then this should be kind of... Oh, okay, he's going to inhale one more time. And we'll see if he gets that ability off or if we're able to stop it. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's the final level of the dragon and the good old XP brew. It still drops even on stage 15. So that's pretty brutal, just terrible luck right there. But let's go ahead and see if we can at least get one piece of gear. We'll play this again. We'll do it one more time, and this one should go faster because I'll let it just kind of go on auto the whole time instead of stopping to explain stuff. But now you can kind of see everything after it's been explained and kind of see what one of my normal runs looks like. So I do recommend farming dungeons at a level that you can full auto. It's kind of a pain to have to sit here. You know, none of us want to sit here and play manually constantly while we're farming, you know, and grinding things over and over. So you're going to want to farm at a level and set up your party in a way that you're able to play it on auto. And we're going up against, you know, Crimson Helm, and it gets that ability off, so now I'm not going to be able to kill it. We have to wait, you know, for the full turn and sit here and do nothing. That kind of makes this dungeon a pain if you're trying to speed run it. You would really want to do a level that you can burst down that Crimson Helm before it casts that. There we go, and now we can kill it. Boom. And again, we get to the dragon about 1 minute in. It's going to be funny if I get an XP brew again. And there's the inhale, where the dragon gets ready to do that big attack. And you can see I was able to stop it, and it just goes ahead and comes down again. Alrighty, so, yeah, ideally, what you're hoping for, usually, is speed drops, life steal drops, and maybe accuracy drops are kind of the 3 sets you're most likely targeting here. It is, you know, if you want the toxic set, is this the only way to get it? The dragon might be the only way to get it. Or, like, I don't think it ever shows up in the shop or anything, does it? I think if you want the toxic set for like your kind of early to mid game clan boss, I think this is your best route to get it. But I think the toxic set is just a little bit underwhelming for being a 4-piece that applies 2.5s. And there we go. you can see that the run only takes about 2.5 minutes, and that was even with getting bad luck against the Crimson Helm. And, you know, so that's kind of like my normal level 15 run, you know, when I'm not stopping to, like, explain stuff. But you can see here we got a 5-star epic, which is pretty good, but it is the days set. So it did roll speed and crit rate, but this is probably something I wouldn't keep. You know, because unfortunately we can only hang on to 500 artifacts, and when you're in the late game, that 500 does fill up pretty fast. So really quick, before I end the video, I will at least show the champions I was using. Some people like to see, you know, it was a bellower with you know, crit rate, attack percentage, and speed on the bottom sets here. It was Kale with crit rate, attack percentage, and speed, and then Aethel with you know, the lifesteal set, so that I have somebody that can sustain and kind of be usable everywhere with crit rate, attack percentage. And I believe these boots are actually this was my first level 16, so they don't have ideal stats, but I wanted to make use of them, so they went on Aethel. Apothecary, you're just going to be getting him a lot of speed, HP, so you can get those turns off and keep your party boosted. And then my Lord Champ for it, I put Lifesteal on, which probably isn't optimal, but I wanted him to kind of be usable and sustain himself, so my Apothecary can focus on keeping Bellower and Kale topped off and healed up. So, you know, that's kind of my general party composition to farm that last level of the Dragon. So, yeah, you know, if you have any questions, drop it down in the comments, and I'll do my best to help you out. I've been streaming pretty regularly, about 4 or 5 nights a week, so definitely, you know, come on in and hang out, and you know, ask your questions there, and just kind of hang out, and we can all enjoy a raid together. And I usually go over champions and dungeons and kind of help people out on questions they have there. So yeah, check that out if you get time, and you know, as always, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Peace.